The life and sad ending of Buck Owens. Alvis Edgar Owens Jr. was born on August 12, 1929. Owens was born on a farm in Sherman, Texas, to Alvis Edgar Owens Sr. and Maisie Azel Owens. In the biography about Buck, Rich Kienzle writes, "Buck was a donkey on the Owens farm." When Alvis Jr. was 3 or 4 years old, he walked into the house and announced that his name also was Buck. And the boy's name became Buck from then on. He attended public school for grades 1 to 3 in Garland, Texas. Owens' family moved to Mesa, Arizona, in 1937 during the Dust Bowl and Great Depression. While attending school in Arizona, Owens found that while he disliked formal schoolwork, he could often satisfy class requirements by singing or performing in school plays. As a result, he began to take part in such activities whenever he could. His life had many problems in marriage when it was known. Owens was married 4 times, 3 endings in divorce and 1 in annulment. He married country singer Bonnie Campbell Owens in 1948. The couple had 2 sons, separated in 1951, and later divorced. Owens married Phyllis Buford in 1956, with whom he had a 3rd son. In 1977 he wed Buckaroo's fiddle player Jana J. Grief. Within a few days, he filed for an annulment, then changed his mind. The couple continued the on-and-off marriage for a year before divorcing. In 1979 he married Jennifer Smith. Owens had 3 sons, Buddy Allen, Johnny, and Michael Owens. Referring to the career of Buck Owens, it is known that he is an avid learner, a self-taught musician and singer. Owens became proficient on guitar, mandolin, horns, and drums. When he obtained his first electric steel guitar, he taught himself to play it after his father adapted an old radio into an amplifier. Owens quit school in the 9th grade in order to help work on his father's farm and pursue a music career. In 1945, he co-hosted a radio show called Buck and Brit. Co-host Therrell Ray Britton and Owens also played at local bars. They eventually became the resident musicians at a Phoenix bar called the Romo Buffet. In the late 1940s, Owens became a truck driver, a job which took him through the San Joaquin Valley of California. Soon, Owens was frequently traveling to Hollywood for session recording jobs at Capitol Records, playing backup for Tennessee Ernie Ford, Wanda Jackson, Tommy Collins, Tommy Duncan, and many others. Owens recorded a rockabilly record called Hot Dog for the Pep label. In 1959, Owens' career took off when his song Second Fiddle hit number 24 on the Billboard Country chart. Soon after, Under Your Spell again made it to number 4 on the charts, and Capitol Records wanted Owens to return to Bakersfield, California. Buck Owens built up a solid musical foundation, becoming more popular than ever. It was released on March 11 and entered the charts of April 13. The 1966 album Carnegie Hall Concert was a smash hit and further cemented Buck Owens as a top country band. It achieved crossover success onto the pop charts, reinforced by R&B singer Ray Charles releasing cover versions of 2 of Owens' songs that became pop hits that year, Crying Time and Together Again. In 1968 Owens and the Buckaroos performed for President Lyndon Baines Johnson at the White House, which was later released as a live album. Between 1968 and 1969, Owens and the Buckaroos had 2 songs reach number 1 on the country music charts in 1969, Tall Dark Stranger and Who's Gonna Mow Your Grass. In 1969, they recorded a live album, Live in London, where they premiered their rock sanga Happening in London Town and their version of Chuck Berry's song Johnny Be Good. Also between 1968 and 1970, Owens made guest appearances on top TV variety programs, including The Dean Martin Show, The Ed Sullivan Show, The Jackie Gleason Show, and 7 times on The Jimmy Dean Show. In the early 1970s, Owens and the Buckaroos enjoyed a string of hit duets with his protégée Susan Rae, who subsequently became a popular solo artist with Owens as her producer. Owens and Rich were the only members left of the original band, and in the 1970s they struggled to top the country music charts. However, the popularity of Hee Haw was allowing them to enjoy large crowds at indoor arenas. In 1972, after 3 years of not having a #1 song, Owens and the Buckaroos finally had another #1 hit, Made in Japan. In April he added pedal steel guitar as Amazing Gracie and Ain't Gonna Have Ol' Buck. Owens' original version of Streets of Bakersfield was released that same year. The story closes his life. On March 25, 2006, Owens died in his sleep of an apparent heart attack, only hours after performing at his club. His death left a lot of mourning for the fans. Thank you for what you have devoted. Owens was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1996. He was ranked number 12 in CMT's 40 Greatest Men of Country Music in 2003. In addition, CMT also ranked the Buckaroos number 2 in the network's 20 Greatest Bands in 2005. He was also inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. The stretch of U.S. Highway 82 in Sherman is named the Buck Owens Freeway in his honor.